Alright. We're up and running. I see Sour Lad in the chat. What's up, Sour Lad? I'm gonna need to make sure everything is set up since I haven't particularly done a setup like this in a while. So I'm gonna jump over to the gaming stream layout and we'll make sure all the sound and settings and stuff are good. Need to unmute the game audio, that would be nice. Sarlet says, "Hi Raku, how are you?" I'm good, man. I'm really excited to get into this game. I have not had a chance to really play it at all. I installed it earlier today, and I was testing to make sure it ran okay on my machine. But other than that, I haven't done anything with the game. I'm gonna up the game audio. Let me know if you can hear the audio. It might be a little bit low, Sour Lad. I could probably up it maybe to about 50% for this. And you're going to want to be able to hear the background noise and music. Yeah. All right. Let me do this. I could probably up the settings maybe to about 100% too. Then I don't have to mess around with OBS as much. Really, it's the BGM I want you guys to be able to hear. The character voices is good too. Let's try... Oh. Let's try that. Let me know if this is audible enough for you folks to hear. I just turned my headphones audio down. Hey, Red Dragon's here. Iconic's here. What's up, folks? Just making sure the video game music is audible. And we'll go ahead and get started. This game has awesome music. Alright. We'll go ahead and get started, and I can tweak things on the fly. So we are jumping into something brand new today. Sort of brand new. This is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. It was just re-released on PC, PS4, and Switch today. We were playing the PC version. And if you've never seen this game before, and you know Persona, then buckle up, because this game is a blast. It's one of my favorite fighting games, and the last time I played it was many, many, many years ago on 360, I believe. So what we're going to do today is do kind of a breakdown of the cast. And to do that, we've got to go to practice and go to training mode. Naked Snake's here. What's up, Snake? I know you've been playing this. Both you and Wazzy have a head start on me since I haven't had a chance to play this all day. Get my cursor off the screen.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality.
Alright. So I think I'm going to treat this kind of like I did for Guilty Gear, but I'm going to try and move a little bit faster. We won't go through all of the normals and probably not every single special move because the move lists for this game are pretty comprehensive. So we'll kind of take a look at the characters, figure out their archetypes, and kind of move through. We'll start with the P4 Pro Tag, Yu Narukami.
Perhaps you can think of it as a facade of determination. Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego, your persona.
Alright,
Here goes. I wish you good luck.
Eric says, "Is this Fortnite?" We will not have you Narukami default dancing, unfortunately. All right.
Justice will pierce your heart.
So how does Ultimax play? This is a two-dimensional sprite-based fighter. I believe this is Arc System. Arc System works. This would be before their 3D engine stuff like Guilty Gear, XR, Dragon Ball Fighters, and the like. This game came out a while ago.
My arrow of justice will pierce your heart.
You can kind of think of it similar to a hyper fighting type game. The control scheme for this game is laid out basically 4 buttons. And I'm going to kind of break down how it works just so it's clear how all the inputs work, and then we'll actually go into each of the characters.
My arrow of justice will pierce your heart.
And I had to double check to make sure before I loaded everything up that things were going to be clear on this controller, because I am using a PS4 controller but mapped to Soul Calibur controls, so the button layout is kind of flipped from normal.
Justice will pierce your heart.
Hey, Mysterious Phoenix is here. What's up, Mysterious Phoenix? Welcome to the stream. Alright, 4 buttons. We have light. We have heavy. If you can see in the lower section of the screen, it's the input viewer.
My arrow of justice will
We can think of these kind of like color-based inputs, but basically blue is light, green is heavy, yellow is persona, and red is heavy persona. So the characters in this game, for the most part, with some exceptions, have their personas from the respective video games, and they call them out like JoJo stands to do additional moves and combos and whatnot. So if I were to do light persona in the air, you have Izanagi come out as kind of like an airstrike. Heavy in the air is kind of a dive kick, lower trajectory attack. You have dashes, persistent dash, double tap. You have a forward lunge, which I believe can evade things. Again, it's been a while since I played this, so I gotta kind of brush up. Wazzy says, mess Ikari up. Do my best. Air dashes. I think not every character has an air dash. We'll find out as we go. Inputs are fighting game standards, things like fireballs or DPs, Shoryuken inputs. And the way you string things together, kind of like a Gatling system, the stringing normals. And also using your persona. And personas are tied to the cards you see under the life bars. There's 4 of them for each character right here. If you bring a persona out and the enemy hits it, you'll lose a card. And then if you lose all 4, your persona goes into cooldown mode and you can't call it out. This game also has a function that I can't remember how many Arc Sys games have it, but it's an auto combo function, which is pretty neat. For people who aren't big fighting game players and are just getting started in a game like Ultimax, they have what are called auto combos, which are pretty handy and useful to use. If you just hit green or light, blue, which is light, and you just chain it back to back non-stop, you get an auto combo, and it looks like this. Each character is different, but it's basically a bunch of normals that chain into a super. And you can use that in a fight, and you can bust out combos pretty quick, or you can enter them manually as well. Red Dragon says, wasn't there an anime of this? Yep, there was a Persona 4 anime. Not of Ultimax, I don't think, but there was of P4. and P4 golden. Let's see. Persona buttons together. Grab. Front throw. Back throw. This is the basic navigation and combo flow of this game. Functions like a lot of other two-dimensional fighters, but the Persona mechanics make it interesting. And Iconic says they did do the auto combo thing in Fighters. Okay, I haven't played Fighters, interestingly enough. Kind of want to get into it, but it's been so long. It's kind of lower my priority list, but yeah, that makes sense. The older Arc Sys games didn't have the auto combo. But it is cool that it's in there, because it's pretty functional. And for you, as fitting of the protag from the game, he's pretty much a well-rounded character, kind of like a Ryu type. He's got a projectile, Hadoken. We can look at the command list briefly here. These are big command lists, like I mentioned before. These are all normals. Up here. And then there's supers down here, which we can look at. I can't do all of them because some of them are really specific inputs. But we'll take kind of a quick look just so you can see how each character plays. Oh, big gamble. What's big gamble? Oh, that's his Shoryu, which is not an actual input, it's just 2 buttons. 2-button Insta Shoryu is nuts. This might be one of the only games I've played that has that kind of move tied to 1-button input. Eric says, wait, where is this Soul? This guy doesn't look like a bad guy. He is not the bad guy. Duh. Sprite design is very Guilty Gear-esque, though, being that it was before the era of the 3D stuff. Post first couple iterations of Blaze Blue, I believe. Alright, Swift Strike. Did they flip inputs? I don't think they flipped inputs. Yeah. So it's core circle back Persona. Get a sliding kick. Zio is the forward Hadoken. For supers, Zeodyne, your 3rd tier lightning spell in SMT Persona games. 2 quarter circles forward, and then either Persona button. Beam projectile can be used in the air. Can't be aimed. Comes out decently fast. Hits all the way across the screen. Lightning flash, quarter circle forward, and either light or heavy attack. This is... Is that a follow-up? Is it cross slash that's heavy? Well, that's... The other one's back. There it is. That's the one that comes out of the auto combo. Lion Tamer says you should challenge Wazzy and show her how to kick names and take ass. She's been practicing all day. She probably beat me at this point. Okay, there's a... Let's see. Thunder God Dance is the one that has a bunch of inputs. I have not figured out the timing on how to do those. Oh, and there's a ultimate. Myriad Truths. Down 3 times and 2 persona buttons. Match point round only. I don't know if it'll let me do it. Oh. It does. Cinematic supers. It's an insta-kill, I believe. A la Guilty Gear. But it can only be done on the match point round normally. Lion Tamer says, also took until my 3rd playthrough of the original Persona 5 to realize that Kawakami, the teacher, has the same voice actor as Yukari. The Persona cast tends to use a lot of the same VAs for a lot of their stuff. Iconic says, really hope this sells well so they start working on a P5 arena. Yeah, man. It is very, very surprising we even got a re-release of this game. And that they're going to be modding in netcode, rollback netcode for the PC and PS4 versions. RIP to Switch users. It's not going to be getting that update because of the way that Switch infrastructure makes it difficult for rollback to work, apparently. But I never thought I would see this game ever again, unless I felt like digging my 360 out of storage. But let's move on.
The Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter.
Iconic says, gotta love that you and Adachi are voiced by the same legend, Johnny Young Bosch. Yep. I think Yuri Lowenthal voices Yosuke, who's next up on the list.
Sorry, but I won't lose.
Picture in your head your own appearance
With
as
his
well
persona
as
Disco
your
Ninja Frog.
Your persona.
Who are we gonna fight? Labris.
I'm busting in too.
I wish you good luck.
Iconic says, yeah, he's Yosuke, another VA legend. I believe Yuri Lowenthal voiced the main character in Persona 3. Someone can fact check that for me. He doesn't really have too many spoken lines, except when he's saying like Persona names, but pretty sure that was him. Alright. So Yosuke has kunai. You had the katana. Yosuke's faster. He's more of a quick-ish rushdown character. Got the air dash. Down. Heavy attack in the air gives a rain of kunai. It's on one button. That's some sort of rushing multi-hit attack. And also, because I haven't done a fighting game on the channel in a while, I'm using a fight stick. This is my Soul Calibur 6 PS4 stick. So that's why you folks can hear the buttons clicking. So for authentic effect, you'll be able to hear me hitting buttons when playing fight games. Lion Tamer says, sad they had to use Johnny Young Bosch as the new voice of Broly in Dragon Ball, because Broly does not suit his voice. Yeah, you would think someone with a bit more of a lower gravelly voice would be good for Broly. And Iconic confirms, yes, that was Yuri as P3 MC, who has canonically, I saw this on the subreddit the other day because I was looking up information on this game. And I always thought his name was Minato, but people also call him Makoto apparently. Maybe that's from the manga or something. Alright. So Yosuke is speedier than you, definitely. His auto combo looks like this. Very flashy. Busts out Disco Ninja Frog, and most of his attacks are wind based, because I think that's his element in the game. But let's see. Persona attacks. Call Persona out to deliver a kick on the ground. Jumping air is sort of a barrier downwards hitting move. You hit down, get kind of a ground cloud type move. Heavy Persona attack moves forward. Iconic says that he fits the softer side, but but Rage Broly's funny with Johnny Young Bosch. That would be interesting to hear. I haven't seen the Broly movies. Snake says, like I said, bad news. PC can only get 17 FPS out of it. Hopefully there'll be some patches, something that has more options. Have you tried dropping the graphics settings down or the resolution, Snake? Did that help at all? I'm assuming you looked at that. I have no idea how they optimized Ultimax for PC, given it's an old 360 and PS3 era game. I would expect it to not be too system intensive unless they just poorly optimize it in general. Lion Tamer says, not just Dragon Ball Super, Broly, DBZ Broly, they redubbed him. Oh, and a whole bunch of things. I see. Snake says, no, it's still at 17, even the lowest resolution and screen size. Well, that sucks, man. I know a lot of people are playing this, so you might look around on the forums and see if anyone else has found a fix for performance issues with this game. I haven't seen any, because that's what I was looking for, since I wasn't able to play it earlier today, but I can still look around on the internet. And I wasn't seeing a lot of threads with people talking about performance issues, but it always happens with PC releases. Let's see, how do you do the follow-up? All-out attack? Oh, it's light. Okay. That causes... It's kind of like a dust button, an insta rush down attack, and you can launch off of it. And that's by hitting blue and green at the same time, and then light or heavy. Yeah. And then you can air combo and follow up with moves from the Persona. Alright, what's Yosuke got for moves? Dash Spring. Is that forward rushing move, I believe? Yeah. Oh, I see. The strength of the button, that's light. Heavy, I think flips over him. Let's see. Get away from the wall. Yep. Good cross-up technique. Snake says it was probably just me. My laptop's not strong, even though it can run Skullgirls. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if this game's not super optimized for a lot of different builds, versus something like Skullgirls, which was designed to be released on literally everything when it came out. What else you got? Tentara Fu. Quarter circle forward. Persona button. Oh, that's what that is. Causes... I think they have actual status ailments in this. Which is why she's glowing briefly. I don't remember what they do. It might do something to your controls. Snake says, well, I can always just save up for the Switch version. I would wait and see if they come up with any fixes or patches for the PC version. If you really want to play it and you want to get it on Switch, that's fine. But because the Switch version isn't getting the rollback netcode improvement later, it means you're going to have a tough time playing people online if you want to do online matches in Ultimax. Alright, Flying Kunai is the projectile wave from the air. Mirage slash. Down persona button in the air. Light version goes forward. Heavy version just goes down and doesn't move, looks like. Okay. Moonsault, quarter circle forward or backwards in the air. Oh, I see. Air mobility. Flip forward, flip backward. Iconic says, in response to the question about the dub, for the Xenoverse, yeah, they just reuse voice lines with new characters to interact with. Yeah, it's not surprising. Otherwise, they have to redub the entire line list every time. Snake asks, who did you choose for your navigator? I haven't even gotten there yet, man. Can I do that from options? I do not think I can do that from here. Someone remind me to look at that later if we have time after we finish looking at the characters. Alright. Let's look at Yosuke's supers. Goddardine. Quarter circle forward twice, persona button. That's the one that comes out of the auto combo. Big whirlwind projectile, and he can move when he does it, which is kind of handy. If you want to close distance or even get away, you can do it with that one. Tsukakaja, quarter circle back twice. Persona button. This is a buff state. Increases speed temporarily, improves all of their skills. Oh wow, it changes the super too? That's interesting. Okay. Shippu Nagareboshi. After Tsukakaja, quarter circle back twice. Persona button. So I have to go install first. Ground or air. But only when awakened? I don't know if it's going to let me do it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I guess out of the auto combo, he'll do that one when you have Tsukakaja on. Let's double check. Yep, that's looks expensive, but it's pretty flashy. Snake says for the Navigator, either Nanako or Dojima. That's fair. I'll have to see what the options are. Oh, let's see. Lion says, I found an easy trick to do the Beans voice. Drink some soda and hope you get a long-winded deep burp. That is kind of a way to do throat bass. The trick is getting that sort of muscle control to happen when you're not doing a burp. Lion Tamer says, why is the end of that kunai sound loud? It could be how it's mixed. I didn't notice because I'm hitting buttons at the same time. Oh yeah, that's mixed way louder for the kunai spin and the hit. That's weird. And ultimate Brave Blade. The insta kills are all done the same way. I like that you get time to make history for the insta kills as well. Alright, so that's Yosuke. Definitely more fast and kind of rushdown oriented compared to you. Let us move on.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists.
Next is
between
Chie.
dream and reality, mind and matter.
Chie was my
Picture
secondary,
in your head your own
I believe.
appearance, as well as your alter ego, your persona.
Oh, fitting. Let's beat up Yukiko.
I wish you good luck.
Alright. Chie is not quite as fast on the ground as Yosuke, but I think she's faster than you. And Chie is very much a rushdown character, which makes sense since she's a martial arts enthusiast, so she's meant to get in your face and pummel you quickly. She's pretty fun. I don't remember a lot of her combos that I used to use.
Like this.
But they're pretty fluid and quick. Skilled Chie players will just be in your face constantly. Iconic says, yeah, Chie's legs are registered as weapons in the game. Files Satonaka. The spunky dragon with deadly legs. If you look under the character portraits at the top of the screen, everyone in the game has their own title. Yukiko is the unconquerable Snow Black, which is too cool of a title for her.
Oh. Like this.
Lion Tamer says kunais are loud compared to the rest of the game. I guess we'll see if that's a common thing for super moves. And Lion says, I imagine this game on TV getting people in trouble if they use Yosuke and kunais that make that noise during the middle while others are asleep. Very likely. Snake says, I believe Yu has a sister complex under his name. Yeah, it's like the Ironclad sister complex something. They're not the most flattering titles, which they kind of explain in game. Alright, so let's see. Chie's auto combo looks like this. Basically, flurry of really quick normals followed by super with her persona Tomoe. Oh, I need to check to see if everyone has double jumps. Most characters do, I think. Chie reminds me very much of Cranberry Jam from Guilty Gear. Very similar fighting style. She even has some of the kind of buff type moves. Iconic says Adachi is police stick or something. Eric says Adachi should be king of misogynism. Iconic says Cabbage Lord. Yeah, we'll get to Adachi. Alright, for the Persona attacks, grounded, get a smack with light Persona. Heavy moves forward, a big swing, multi-hit. The one I was doing in combo wasn't that one. Down, Persona gets low, and that's Bufu, the ice spell. What was... Okay, there's a follow-up for the heavy version of her Persona hit. Yeah, that must be what I was doing. Because Chie is very rushdown focused, stringing normals into her Persona hits tend to be just a lot of hits in general. Like, that flying flurry of kicks, which has an arc, is her quarter circle forward light. The heavy version goes higher and comes down, almost like an anti-air. But just by chaining inputs and then throwing things like her Persona, you can do stuff like this with Chie. And basically lock people down with a lot of offense, which is fun. Yeah, that flurry of kicks is Rampage. Oh, she has a command move. Command normal. What's that? Down heavy? Oh, it's a different kick. Lion Tamer says, funny how Chie and Yukiko have titles opposite to their Persona attributes. Dragon for fire, but Chie uses ice, and snow for Yukiko, but she uses fire. Yep, I'm pretty sure they did that intentionally. Alright. Oh, there's a follow-up to Rampage. Skullcracker. Like a Rekka input. Additional quarter circle forward plus normal. There it is. 2 hits for knockdown. So you could do something like 1, 2... Uses combo ender. You have to throw it relatively quick before the flurry of kicks ends, though. And I think you can buffer it? Yeah. Herculean Strike is quarter circle back. Yeah, that particular move. Which can be charged. The heavy version can be charged at least.
Like this.
Dragon Kick. Quarter circle forward. Persona button. Yeah, that's the move I was thinking of. Also good for a combo ender. Wazi says, fight me. Stop with the knowing how to play.
Like this.
I feel like I need to explain the cast for people who've never seen this game before. Alright, black spot. Quarter circle back. Persona button. Or quarter circle forward. Oh, Herculean Strike isn't
Like
this is black spot. That's Herculean Strike. Forward lunging attack. Now let's look at Chie Supers. God's Hand. Heck, God Hand. Core circle forward. Persona button. One really, really big hit that hits in front. Heavy version goes further out. Just one big fist of the heavens. Power charge. This is a buff state, kind of like Yosuke Tsukakaja. Core circle forward. Lighter heavy. Okay. Next up, Agneostra. Rain of Meteors. Only when awakened. I think these red square ones mean you have to be in awakened state, which procs when your character gets low in health. Iconic says just mash button. You could. Only get you so far, but you could. Wazi says Iconic gets it. Alright, quarter circle back, Persona button. Yeah, that move's fire based. And then the insta-kill Galactic Punt. That's a fun one. Alright, so that's Chie in a nutshell. She's fun. Very quick, easy, kind of fluid chains, and a lot of fast hitting, high impact moves. She's fun. I like Chie a lot.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality. Mind
Alright,
and matter.
moving on. We got Best Boy,
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Kanji Tatsumi, with Take Mikazuchi.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego,
This is the
your persona. Very well.
Wazi says, I'm better with Yosuke, but I heart Chie. I think Erica's asking about your favorite character, Persona 4. I don't know about specifically this game. Maybe Eric can clarify. Lion says, remember I beat my friend a bunch, not knowing any combos, just using a guy with swords who doesn't have a persona and mashing buttons. That'd be Sho. It'd be the regular version of Sho, not Tsukiyomi Sho. There's two versions of this particular character with the swords. He is unique to this game. Alright. Kanji is heavier than the other characters. Not quite as quick on the ground or in the air. He does have a short air dash and double jump. His weapon of choice is a folding chair, which is pretty awesome. For character archetypes, Kanji is kind of a grappler. We'll see some of his moves that are kind of grab based and a bit close range. And his persona moves with Take Mikazuchi are pretty heavy. Airstrike, grounded, you have big, heavy hits. Heavy persona is almost full screen lightning bolt. Yeah. Wazi says, yeah, much button mash to win. Hey, first time chat from, is that Jinx T? Am I saying your name right? Welcome to the stream. We are looking at Persona 4 Arena Ultimax today. Oh, I forgot about that move. Is that a command normal? The auto combo for kanji, since I should probably lead off with that, looks like this. Flurry blows, and get hit with the chair at the end. Ah, Jinx says it's pronounced jinxed. Hope your day's well. I'm doing good, dude. This is one of my favorite fighting games, so I'm super hyped to be able to play it. Alright, let's take a look at his attacks. Command normal with heavy persona and heavy attack. Kind of a Blanca type move. Doesn't require mashed inputs though, just hitting them both at the same time.
Rejoice, you will be released from suffering.
I did see further up, Eric says, I'm so kanji for real, he is literally me. Oh, nothing wrong with that. Kanji's my favorite male character in P4. He's great. Okay, cruel attack. Core circle forward. Alright. Think that's overhead? Oh, that's just a standing normal. Yeah, want some? That's a standing normal hard. Or green. That's great. Can you do that in the air? No. You can cancel out of it too. Cruel attack, its follow-up. The Rekka input. That's a super.
Not enough. Don't make me strangle you. There we go. There we go.
Oh, Wazi redeemed Rakufaktu. Yeah, I saw it go through. Alright, let me go pull up my fact list. I'll slide that over here. The game audio is paused because I had to tab out real quick. Oh, alright. Let me see if I can find a fact on the list here that Wazi has not heard before. Ah, here's one. I don't know if I said this on stream before, but it's a true fact. My favorite movie is Spirited Away. I'm just going to minimize that in case someone else redeems one of those. I need to add to that list. Oh, Lion Tamer redeemed swear timer. Alright. I do not have that on this layout, so I will add that here. Put that right above my head.
Don't make me strangle you.
5 minutes of no swearing. Quality says Raku's second favorite film is RoboCop. RoboCop is awesome, but it wouldn't be in my top 10 most likely. Second favorite, that's a tough one. Probably a toss-up between Army of Darkness and Big Trouble in Little China, depending on my mood. Alright, gotcha, Coruscant forward. Persona button, that's a command grab. Anti-air command grab. People jump at you, throw that, and the Persona will grab them out of the air. Primal Force. Oh, he's got charge moves? Yep, forward charge. Lion Tamer says AMC Theaters playing Studio Ghibli films starting next month with Princess Mononoke. I like Princess Mononoke. That's definitely in my top 10. Maybe 3 or 4. It's hard to say. I kind of lump animated movies and regular live action movies in the same top 10. Alright. Ass whooping Tatsumi style. Coral circle forward. Attack. Alright, that's the multi-flurry of blows in his auto combo. Burn to a crisp. Quarter circle back twice. Persona button. It's a pretty cool move. The Man series Bro Fist for his insta-kill. Walks forward into a grab. That is a bro fist. Iconic says, ew, charge moves. I don't like charge moves in general, but there are a couple characters in fighting games that I could play that have charge type moves. Kanji only has the one, I think. There's a character in Them's Fighting Herds that uses charge moves that I can play pretty decently too. Walsey says, is Megamind on that list? I have not seen Megamind. I only know the memes. Even though I don't really get the latest one that's been circulating. Alright, so that's Kanji. He has a shorter move list than some of the other characters, but he's fun. Very close range, grappler-esque type moves. Yeah, Naked Snake, that's the meme I'm talking about. I don't really understand it. Alright, next up, Tsukiyomi Show. I actually don't know this character at all. I don't think I ever played with them originally. This is the one we were just fighting against.
I wish you good luck.
Iconic says, it sucks because I like a lot of characters that have charge moves. Yeah, it depends on how the game implements charge moves too, because some newer games, most newer games allow you to buffer the charge inputs while you're doing other things. So this isn't, I don't think this character has charge moves, but doing things like hitting normals and then charging a direction makes it a lot easier. If they do that, then I can usually play them fine. Alright, for show, in Edgelord mode, He is a pretty decent ground speed character with a lot of close range quick moves with the swords. His dialogue combo looks like this. Oh, he's so edgy. Oh, he's got a DP on heavies, just like you. You toss a, was that a knife? Oh, easy always the DP move. Survival knife. Holgetsuzan. Quarter circle back. Lighter heavy. That must be quarter circle back twice. So that moves it forward. Forward lunging cut. Looks like it hits high. I don't think that's an overhead. Holgetsuzan. Destructive Fang. Back plus. So you have the Holgetsuzan. Follow up. Back plus. Or back plus follow up. Oh, timing on that's difficult. Okay. Must be the follow up after that. Tsukiyomi, core circle forward, persona button. Is that teleport? Yeah, kind of a teleport. Downed attack. That's got to hit overhead. Good for air combos. Iconic says you passed the swear timer. Alright, we can turn it off now. Wazi says, of course he did. Raku is Squeak Boy? Squeak Boy. Do I look like a mouse? Spirit Drain, Life Drain, quarter circle back, persona button.
I made a blunder.
Command grab. That's the regular grab. Okay, looks like the light one is... I can't tell which is which. Eric says, Squeak Boy more like Skid Boy. Wazi says, Squeaky Clean. Naked Snake redeemed another swear timer. Alright. As you wish. Alright, supers. Wings of Purgatory. Quarter circle forward. Persona button. Oh, that one. Okay. So edgy. Moon Smasher. Quarter circle back twice. Lighter hard. Oh, that one. Okay. Oh, okay, that's switch who I'm controlling. Dream Fog, quarter circle back, persona button. Oh, that looks like a counter.
I see it.
Yeah. Let's see. How easy is it to set the dummy? Okay, you can do input recording if you want the dummy to do specific things. I don't know how easy that's going to be to do without another controller hooked up, though. thought there was just attack. Or just controller. Oh, continuously attack. All right.
Want some?
All right.
Want some? Want some? Want some?
I see it.
Want some?
Is that hitting low?
Want some?
I see it.
Want some?
I see it.
Want some? Strike!
I get the feeling that's hitting low. Alright, well, we won't mess around with that too much. I know it's a counter state. Snake says, Wazzy, who's your navigator? Wazzy says, Nanako. I'll have to look and see. We could do that after we get through the character intros. Alright. I want to turn that off. We could see if I can trigger the counter.
I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. That. I see it.
Take this!
Alright, that's going to be a waste of time. Move on.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Alright, Marie.
Exists between dream and reality.
Character introduced in Golden.
Matter. Now then, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, Margaret is in this. I completely forget who's
Picture in your head
in the
your
cast
avatar
of
as well
Ultimax.
as your alter
I haven't
ego.
played this game forever.
You are pushed very well.
Eric says, question for anyone who has played Persona 4. Did anyone else get a big brosis complex after playing it? I didn't. Everyone has a desire to protect Nanako after playing the game, though. I think that's normal. I definitely didn't get like a sister complex so much as we must protect this daughter at all costs. Ah, Sour Lad's taking off. Later, Sour. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch you later. Sour Lad says, remember to stretch gamer fingers? Yes, will do. Alright, Marie, the antisocial poet of the Hollow Forest. I do not remember what her deal is. Alright, her dialogue combo looks like this. Pretty straightforward. I think this persona was created specifically for this game, Kaguya. And I haven't played Golden in forever, but I don't think she had a persona in that game. But it's really cool design. Kind of a moth-ish. Eric says, it made me want to look cool in front of my little cousins. Lion Tamer says, Nanako is like a cute dog you must protect. See Persona 3 for that. Iconic says, protecting daughters is always important. Waza says to me to Dojima, my child now. Waza says, Raku, you're hurting me? Hey, I haven't played Golden in like 10 years. It's the Aeon persona. Okay. It has been a long time, and I did love Golden. It's my first P4 experience, but it has been quite some time. Why? I need to figure out why my personas are coming out every once in a while. Maybe, I think I have my fingers resting too close to certain buttons. Alright, let's look at her command list. Hot lightning. Close range electricity hits. Lion Tamer says, Dojima, how do you take your coffee? Sugar? What are you, Nanako? I will always endorse quoting the Hayam Daisy comic dub in this stream because it is comedic genius. Alright, what else we got? Run amok. Core circle, light or hard. Alright, forward, hit with the bag. Yeah, there it went again. Hopefully my buttons aren't duplicating inputs. I haven't fired this fight stick up in a while. Well, hopefully it's not ghosting. It's all yours. Quarter circle back. Light or hard. Oh, random gift? Yep. Eric says, I like my coffee like I like my men. Idiots. Lion Tamer says, no need to be so formal. I've seen you naked. Probably the one quote from the comic that'll make people question you for saying it. There's a lot of good quotes in the Hayam Daisy comic dub. Dance Fallen Angels, quarter circle, back, light, then light or heavy.
This might hurt.
Oh, is that what that is? Nope, that's just her normal. Why it's not giving me whatever that's asking for. Oh, I see. The Dance Fallen Angels is the bouncing one, I guess. Memories of Grief. I can get an Igor head. I see. It depends on the strength of the button. Wazzy says, lurking, nacho time. Lion Tamer says, Wazzy smacked Garaku for not singing the song. Oh, Pink's here. Pink says, are you really the sort of gamer that actually tries to learn the moves? Damn, I thought I knew you. I do try and learn the ins and outs when playing fighting games. But I usually pick a main. We'll get there. We're doing a somewhat abridged character tour. Let's look at Marie's supers. I won't go through all of the special moves since, again, there's a ton of them. Shell of Denial, quarter circle forward, light or hard. Okay. Shut up, I hate you, stupid jerk. Quarter circle forward, persona button.
Not that.
That inflicts lightning status? Shocked? Shining arrows, quarter circle back, persona button. Oh, how does that work? Oh, you can change the direction those things fire from. Naked Snake says, Persona, 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 persona. Social links, social links, social links. Yep, that's Igor. The case is closed. Let's get drunk. Thinks it's boo, you're not a button masher, boo. Nah, man. I already have a problem with hitting too many inputs sometimes for games that have Gatling combos. But since I play fighting games competitively, I try and learn them the best I can. Musubi no Ikazuchi. Thunder of Musubi?
Now that I've taken this form, I won't be able to hold back. I'm sorry. I will protect
That's pretty cool. Peepa says, calls me a gremlin and says hi. I see how it is. Eric says that the trick to winning every fighting game is using Potemkin. I suck with Potemkin. I don't really play a ton of grapple characters, but he's hits like a truck. I've seen some nutty stuff in Strive with Potemkin. Alright, let's keep moving.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter.
Alright,
Now,
Margaret.
why don't you introduce yourself?
Picture in your head your own appearance
Oh, that's
as well as your alter ego,
Kukulin.
your persona.
I don't recognize the one in the back that's red and blue. And the one on the far right is Yoshitsune.
I'll crush the life out of you.
Very well.
I think Snake says, Nanako, I'm home and I brought the strange man from work. Eric says, dude, just facepalm the floor, jump, and Potemkin Buster. The Potemkin starter pack. Ah, Margaret, the sadistic stud-keeping secretary. The attendant from P4. The somewhat stoic, too cool for the room character.
So, persona.
She's, I think that's supposed to be the compendium.
So, again. So,
Light. Her heavy attack is a forward-hitting lunge.
so. Persona. Persona, go for it. Go
Alright.
for it.
Standing persona is spear with Kukulin.
Can you see this?
Heavy. Oh,
Persona.
who is that? That's one of the Hindu gods. Is that
Persona. Can you see
Shiva?
this? Persona. Persona. Take this.
Oh, it's a grab.
So, again. Go for it. Persona. This is my power. Taste it for yourself.
See her dial combo.
This is my power. Taste it for yourself.
I ain't done.
Pretty simple. Basically, oh, she can chain her standing light to shoot a bunch of cards and then it procs into the super for the auto combo. Big hit from Yoshitsune.
Chicken.
Lion Tamer says, who wants to talk about murders? Because don't tell anyone I said this, but shut up, Adachi.
Come to me. So, take this.
command move down
This way.
heavy.
This way. This way.
It's got M Bison stomp.
Are you prepared? Come to me, so.
She has a lot of command moves, in fact. They're all down inputs.
Take this. Take this. Can you see this? Take this.
Oh, different persona move. Regular jumping air is Yoshitsune, down is Kukoin.
Persona. I'll use it. This may be a little hot. Persona. Freeze over.
Fire or ice. Ultra suplex. Is that a command grab?
This is the last part.
That's really more of an Azuna drop as opposed to a suplex.
Caught you.
Hey, 2-button command grab. That's pretty great.
This is the last part.
Divine vacuum.
This is all. Isn't this fun?
Full screen projectile. Gale slash.
I will come, sword bearer.
She has a bunch of moves that use her personas,
Come, sword bearer.
even on normal inputs like light or heavy. That's interesting.
I won't make it hurt.
What's the matter?
Come,
Chicken?
I will shred you apart. I won't make it hurt.
God's hand. Of course, look back persona button.
Come, almighty one.
Oh, that's like the super that Chie has.
Come, almighty one. Take this.
Big fist.
Take this. Come, almighty one. Here's a trump card for you. Come, almighty one.
Supers. Power slash. That's the one that comes out of her.
My power. Taste it for yourself.
Yep, her auto combo. Panta Ray. Force circle forward. Persona button.
I will show you. Now.
Oh, that's what that is.
Disappear. Persona. So? Come to me. Come to me.
Naked Snake says, everybody's a killer and I'm a Super Mario.
Come to
Nanako, get me some sausages. Blah, blah, blah. Nanako, I will punch you in the gut. Hasso Tobi, awakened super. Quarter circle back twice. Light.
I have faith in you. Withstand this.
That is a move that's usually in SMT games, from learnable from Yoshitsune. Mediarahan. Oh, Arda. That must be who that Hindu persona is. Assume it's Hindu.
I have faith in you. Withstand this. This is my power. I have faith in you.
Healing. And Morning Star, her insta kill.
What an odd thing that happened. Let us end this.
Oh, is that a grab?
You can do more to please me. Let us end this.
Yeah, I think it's a close range grab.
Come.
Iconic says, oh my god, Chris Pratt has been here the whole time. Oh, is that? Is that Lucifer?
Now rest.
I forget what they made that persona look like in the Persona series versus SMT. Alright, let's keep moving. Margaret's pretty good. She's mean. Pink says Morningstar must be Lucifer. Yeah, it'd be Persona Lucifer though, because the SMT one is green. He looks like a big demon man.
Mind and matter. Now.
Alright, now it's regular show without Persona.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego.
Oh,
You're
alright.
very well.
I guess that's fitting. Naked Snake says, were you there when the first SMT game came out? I believe it was on NES or Famicom. I have not played the first SMT game. I started with 3. I think it went like Famicom, Super Famicom. They released SMT 1 and 2 later on one of the virtual consoles, but I started with Nocturne. I played Nocturne 4 and recently 5, which I really enjoyed. 5's good. Alright. The Rule Smashing Pun Machine. So regular show, kind of similar to Evil Edgelord version. His dialogue combo looks like this. Biggest difference is he doesn't have a persona to use. So rather than go through all of the regular specials, since they're very similar, we'll just go right into supers. Blazing Moon Barrage was 1, and the other one, Moon Smasher.
Impossible! Feeble. Not happening. Impossible! Give up. Be judged. Impossible! Here comes more. Impossible! Impossible! Very well.
Let's see. Other than that, he's pretty similar. Yeah, he's got Izuyoi.
You're done already? You're done already?
The air version's a little different. It's downwards. Grounded one's a DP. Iconic says, Real Smashing Pun Machine show wins the titles game I see. We'll see. There's plenty more we have yet to look at. Alright, he does have a side-switching dash. Can't remember if Edgelord version had that. Probably not, because the moves are persona-based. Either get a big dash or a short range. But yeah, we don't have to spend as much time with regular show, since he's similar to the evil version.
This place exists between dream and reality. Mine.
Next up, Teddy.
You had your own appearance, as
Oh,
well
whoops.
as your
Let's go
ultimate
random.
goal, your persona. I wish you
Fight.
good luck.
Edgelord show again. The Beast in Heat, Teddy. Not untrue. Alright, Teddy's a bit shorter than some of the other characters. He's kind of quick on his feet. Quarter circle forward. Gives us kind of a Berserker Barrage forward dashing move. His persona is... what's it called? Kintoki Doji? Kamui. Kamui.
Very poisonous. Make sure you trade in your old one. Teddy Claw. Bear passing through. Kentucky Dodgy. Bear passing through. What'll come out? Rejoice. You will be released.
That's not the evolved version. The evolved version is Persona's Kamui, I think. Okay, heavy version tosses items. The light version Persona button is a forward charge, and I think that deflects things, or at least gets in the way. Auto combo for Teddy looks like this. Oh, there's no super? There it is. Nice. Got the deflated animation too. Teddy Vision's the TV wall? Yeah, I don't know. Can't remember what that does. Oh, he can pop out. That's right. That's the light persona button. And the heavy one comes in low like a sliding attack. Yeah, Teddy Warp is popping out. 2D Teddy, down, down, lighter, hard. Okay, you can hold it down. That looks like an evade. The light one you can't hold down. The heavy one you can. Interesting. I bet that low profiles things that are coming in high. Okay, specials or supers. Tomahawk, core circle forward, persona button. Yep, that's a missile. Yeah, Kintoki Doji is his regular one. Kamui is the evolved form. Missile attacks in the air. Iconic says that's a move. You're talking about the deflated one. Mystery Teddy. Quarter circle forward. Lighter hard. Okay. Stick is definitely duplicating inputs. Not too big a deal for this, but when I'm actually playing against people, I might have to reconnect it. I don't know why it's throwing. Actually, I think I can fix that. Are there macros? Furious action, persona. One more cancel. Oh, I could have sworn there were macros. Okay, don't worry about that. There is a cancel system like the Roman cancels in Guilty Gear, hitting blue, green, yellow. That consumes meter, I think? Yeah. Pink says, who are you thinking of maining? I have a main from this game. We'll get there. Don't you worry. Lion Tamer says, you better prepare for this unbearable bear of a battle. How come I'm not sensei? Because you're comic relief. Alright, what else you got? Circus Bear, Quarter Circle back, Persona button. So goes up and comes out from the other side of the screen. Iconic says, "Who are you playing, Pink?" Yeah, Pink. Did you pick this game up? Or are you planning on it at some point? Because we're going to be starting up Fight Club, and it's definitely fun to play if you want to learn. Pink says, no, I've only played a single Persona. It does not matter for this game. You don't need to have any familiarity with Persona. You can treat it like a regular fighting game and be perfectly fine. Nihil hand, core circle back, light button, lighter heavy. Oh, that one. Okay. And insta kills Kamui Kablooey. That hits at range. Yep.
Flip the switch! You got kicks.
Oh, this persona's dead. Pink says, based on appearance, I'd choose Teddy. Oh, why this says Pink is a clown? Oh, are you done with nachos? Alright, let's move on.
Welcome to the
We almost to the second row? Yep, we got Yukiko next, and then we go to the second row.
Dream and reality, mind and matter.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego, your persona.
Oh, she's got the
I
laugh.
wish you good luck.
Shut up is an endearing character trait. Iconic says, I for sure haven't played any Personas. Yeah, this game has a really interesting story because it takes place canonically after P4, but you don't need to know Persona to enjoy this fighting game. Okay, I'm fighting Shadow Labrys? Alright. Yukiko, the Unconquerable Snow Black.
Like this.
Pink says, I seem to be able to get it for 30 bucks, so maybe I will. Do it. It's a fun game. Alright, Yukiko is a zoner, and she's one of the most annoying characters in the game as a result. Her moves do a really good job of keeping the opponent away at a distance, and a skilled Yukiko player is a handful to deal with because you can't get close. Her dial-a combo with her persona looks like this. Her persona's called Konohana Sakuya, right? I know her evolved form is Amaterasu. Let's see. Oh, Dia, she's got a heal.
Too bad. Too bad.
And it can be held. You really want to troll people. And a whole bunch of fire spells. Agi. Light and hard. Maragi. With the persona. Yeah. Both versions go out a ways. The light one's slower and detonates closer. The heavy one goes pretty much full screen. Wazzy says 4 is my favorite persona. I've only played 3 and 4, and I like 3 a lot, but 4 is my favorite too. Fire boost. Quarter circle back light. Alright, this is a buff state, I think. Yeah. Oh, raises fire boost level by 1, so she can buff several times. Fire break can be used to make her moves unbreakable. And amp raises the boost by 2. Eric is back. Says, I'm back. I was doing a little something at Pokemon Yellow. Nice. Wazzy says, you didn't play 5? No, we've been over this, Wazzy. I have a copy of 5, but I want to play Royal. So I have not played 5 at all. I just have an unopened version of the Vanilla 5. They released it on PC, I'll play it. Because my PS4 isn't readily hooked up. Alright, Flame Dance. There's that one. Supers. Of course, Agidine. Core Circle 4. Persona button. Big full screen projectile. Can be held to charge. Yep. Yep, can be held to charge. Maragi Dine, Core Circle back persona button. full screen projectile wave. And then she doesn't have a lot of supers. Her move list, admittedly, is not that extensive. Full bloom for insta-kill.
Oh my gosh! Here comes the last one. My dear cherry blossoms, bloom in full splendor.
That's a bleach special attack.
To bloom in the
It's weird. Like, her moves are kind of flashy and very elegant, which is not necessarily in line with the way Yukiko is in the games. She's kind of an awkward, not confident person, but I don't get elegance and whatnot from her. Maybe towards the end of the game more.
like this. Just stay there.
I'm reading Wazi's meme. I don't get it. Maybe it needs a visual to go with it. Okay. Tamer says, "Guess who's wearing your kitty panties?" Dude. All right, that's Yukiko. Wazi says, Rocky doesn't know the meme. I know many memes. I do not know all memes. I require clarification.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
All right, that's row one.
This place exists between dream and reality. Mind
I will
and
go
magic.
left to right.
Why don't you
Ken
introduce
Amada
yourself?
and Koromaru. Teenager Ken from P3.
Now let's begin.
Picture in your head your own appearance.
And
as well as
best
your
boy
alter
from
ego,
P3, Koromaru the
your
dog.
persona.
I appear to have been sent something via Discord. Let's
Alright, here goes.
I wish you good luck.
load the match up and I'll see what they sent me. Oh, it's a video. Okay, I will watch it later. Thanks for sending that, Pink. I think.
Predict a home run.
Alright, I do not remember Ken. Did not play a ton with this character. He uses a spear. I think he's mid-range.
Go, Koromaru. Koromaru, go. No good.
Alright, watch
Koromaru,
me make
no good.
history.
Koromaru.
Oh, okay. He has a different sort of mechanic because he can use Koromaru kind of like an assist or summon.
Go, Koromaru. How's this?
We'll have to take a look at the move list.
Too bad. Koromaru. Here I come. No good.
Ken's dial combo looks like this. And his evolved persona is Kalanemi, I think. And Koromaru's persona is Cerberus.
Down yet.
Vile Assault, Rising Attack, followed by Dropping Attack. Sort of a DP followed by a Dive Kick. Let's get 2 for 1.
Here I come.
Pretty quick too. Okay, you can have Koromaru attack or get off screen. I think that yellow bar is his life. He can be hit, kind of like a Persona. I think he goes into cooldown if he takes too much damage. Lion Tamer says, hearing Junpei makes me miss Vic Mignogna so much. Oh, did he play Junpei's voice? It's been forever. Wazzy says, this whole series hits me in the organs. I love it so much. Yeah, Persona's great, man. I haven't played all of them. I'm behind on 5, but 4 is one of my all-time favorite RPGs. I'd rank it very high on my list of all-time favorite JRPGs. It'd be up there in the top 5, I think. Wazzy says, I could yell for 2 years about Persona. And she confirms that Koromaru can be hit and he can die. Alright, so he does have a finite life bar. He can die, Hiraki. Thanks for clarifying. Charge thrust, quarter circle forward. That's a spear poke. And follow up with the Persona. That's gigantic impact. Zan, Hakuro, Batoga. Quarter circle forward, Persona button. Ah. Quarter circle back. Big spinning overhead. That's Hakuro Batoga. Zets. Supers. Hey, quarter circle forward. Lighter heavy. Oh, well. What is that, level 2? That's Fire Breath. Super Got Tie, Ultimate Cross. Oh, that's what that was. Core Circle back. Yeah, team up attack with the dog. Baptism of Light and Darkness. Nice. I like how Koromaru has a little hoodie. If you've never played Persona 3, just know that he's one of the best characters in the game. Alright, that is Ken and Koromaru. The pretentious tenderfoot duo. They play a little bit different than the other characters in the game. Not really like a true puppet character. I saw Iconic ask that up above. Koromaru's kind of like an assist. I don't know this character duo too well. But you don't control him independently, as far as I know. You give him inputs, and he can do different things in addition to fighting with primarily just Ken.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Alright, next up.
This place exists
Ikari Takeba from P3.
and matter. Now, why don't you introduce your
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego. Your persona.
Oh, this is one thing I didn't show off. There are tons of alt color palettes that you can get with nods to other things. But you can also give your character glasses. Because Persona. Ah, we'll fight Akihiko.
That's what I'm talking about.
Very well.
Iconic says, haven't played any Persona myself, but watch Pete's play 4 and 5. It's a cool series, but RPGs are not for me. Definitely can't wait to play this properly. Yeah. Again, you don't have to know anything about the story really to enjoy the Arena series. Okay, so this is Ikari from Persona 3. She's a bit older. I think she's in college. And she plays a Sentai character on TV. She is the Pink Ranger. I forget the character's actual name. But she's in a Sentai TV show.
What's the matter? I'm right here.
Decently fast. She kicks and uses her bow. Her bow is standing heavy. Be charged. Oh, Line Tamer says Featherman, that's right. Pink Featherman. Her dialogue combo looks like this. Kind of reminds me of Hawkeye from Marvel vs. Capcom. A bunch of her moves use a mix of range attacks, zoning type stuff, and other things she kind of throws around from what I remember. Feather Slasher. Low hitting multi-hit attack. Might be able to hit OGG. Feather Arrow. Projectile Wave. Pink says, she looks like a pink Power Ranger. Yeah, the Featherman series is like a Super Sentai team show in the Persona universe from what I remember. Feather Bomb.
What's the matter? I'm right here.
Goes out and comes down over the enemy. Oh, I think... Yeah, that's right. She can set up those floating targets one at a time, and she can shoot them to detonate them on screen and kind of create trap hazards. Now Feather Flip. Oh, she's got wind spells. Magaru. Feather Flip. It's a mobility tool. Hyper Feather Shot. Okay, she's only got 3 supers. Core Circle forward. Magarula. Core Circle back. Persona button. Oh, she can move when that's going off. Yeah. So you can technically throw that for a follow-up if they don't quick recovery. And final Feather Arrow for her. Insta-kill.
I'll show you what I'm made of. Going for the kill.
Iconic Redeem Hydrate. Will do. Before I forget. So that's Yukari in a nutshell. She's interesting. You can use a lot of her attacks to kind of function like zoning tools. She reminds me a bit of Peacock from Skullgirls. Not necessarily as item happy, but her keep away tools are very similar.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Next up, we got Labris and Ariadne. Labris is a unique character that was created for the Arena series.
persona.
And she has like a New Jersey-ish type accent.
Very well.
And we're fighting Shadow Labrys.
Just stay there.
You gonna give me a voice clip? Alright. Yasugami, Steel Council President. Alright. Labrys is a bit heavier. She's not super slow, but she's slower than some of the other characters. And she uses this giant rocket axe. I did not throw that at all. Just checking my stick settings real quick to make sure I don't have something like turbo on. It's repeating inputs, which I've never had that issue with a fight stick before. I'm gonna try and reconnect mine real quick. Hopefully it doesn't just kick me out of the game. Alright. Let's see if that repeat input problem keeps persisting. So what's Labrys have? She's got like a chain grab, kind of scorpion-esque. I'm still getting repeat inputs. Oh, can't use that setting. Alright, well, we'll keep going for now. I might have to look in this or clean out my fight stick later. Well, this says, okay, but Raku plays Dancing All Night when? I have never played the rhythm games. Are they out on something that's not a console? Like, did they ever release the Dancing All Night or Dancing into the Morning or Dancing till Lunchtime or whatever on PC? Winch dash. After chain knuckle forward. Okay, she can use it to go forward, that's right. Alright, good to know. Break, she can kill her momentum. Waza says, I don't know. Hey, that's not nice, Wazzy. Alright, Guillotine Axe is that overhead spinning slap with the axe that I'm doing. Guillotine Aerial. Same thing, comes down kind of in a straight line. Oh yeah, her dialogue combo looks like this. Pretty cool combo into the Persona Super. Weaver's Art. Oh, she has down inputs. Those function kind of like traps. Halsey says, Rock uwu. Rock uwu nuzzles you. Specials, Weaver's Art, Beast, quarter circle forward, persona button. That's the one that comes out of her dialogue combo. Weaver's Art, Breaking Wheel, Quarter Circle Back, Persona button. Low hitting series of spinning gears. That looks pretty cool. I like the patterning on it. Brutal Impact, Quarter Circle Back, Lighter Heavy. One big hit. Oh, that's her insta kill. Iconic says Labris for the win. I like Labris. She's pretty cool. Her story arc is interesting too. That was Weaver's Art Inquisition. Overall, Labris, she's a bit heavier and hits slower than some of the other characters, but she hits hard. And you can do some fun stuff with her combos. Next up,
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place
Mitsuru
exists between
Kirijo,
dream and
aka Best Girl from P3.
and matter. Now,
Well then,
why don't
let's
you
go.
introduce
Picture in your head your own appearance
Artemisia.
as well as your
That's her
alter
persona.
ego.
The evolved form of her P3 persona.
This is the end.
Very well.
The Imperious Queen of Executions. Her outfit is dramatically different than in the P3 games. She's got kind of like this leather cat suit with the big fur coat. And she uses a rapier.
Rejoice.
Oh, that move. Her DP. We'll see what it's called in the move list, but that thing comes out so ridiculously fast, it's pretty much free. I remember, maybe they nerfed it at some point, but that used to be just absolutely busted, because you could bust it out instantly. It's just a 2-button input with heavies. Use grounded, use it in the air, just stupid fast. Let's see. Ground speed, not super quick, kind of in the middle. Oh, Mitsuru's a charge move character, that's right. You can buffer her stuff, so it's not too bad. Her dialogue combo looks like this.
Whoa.
Yeah, Getsue. Oh, it costs HP? I didn't know that. I think it's probably still worth it though. Comes out stupid fast. Coup droit? Droit? I don't speak French. That is charge move, lunging stab.
For you. I'm coming for you.
Heavy version can be charged.
I'm coming for you.
Tentarafu. Isn't Tentarafu a confusion move? Oh, it does leave him confused, even though it inflicts ice. Her persona, Artemisia, uses a whip. Or like a whip sword.
I won't hold back. I won't hold back.
You can have the light version come out, or you can hold it. And then you get a whole bunch of extra hits.
I won't hold back. You have time to gawk?
I think you can chain into that. And go into a super if you really wanted to. Bufula. Charge to down, up. Down to up. Ah, that one.
Rejoice.
Light version goes high. Heavy version goes back to forward.
Your spot
She has a pretty short move list too. Myriad arrows. Square circle forward. Light or heavy. Ah, that move. Oh, you can charge the kick. Oh, and it causes crumple instead of launching. Bufudine. Quarter circle forward. Persona button. That's anti-air, I believe. Ma Bufudine. Quarter circle back. Persona button. Oh, you can choose when her persona fires those too. Yeah, you can basically let them hang out and choose when to shoot them. And her insta-kill was Niflheim.
You're mine now. Intelligent finish.
Yep, that's pretty cool looking attack. Oh, she's got Marin Karen. What is that? Is that just standing persona? No. How do they do that? Down? Down. Down light persona is Marin Karen. Oh, you get a funny little moan noise when it lands too. Alright, anything else? I kinda says cool indeed. Yeah, Mitsuru's pretty strong character in this game. Fighting her online was not fun.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
That like
This place
2-frame
exists
DP.
between dream and reality. Mind
Next up,
and matter.
Aegis with Athena.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Please leave it to me.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego. Your persona. I wish you good luck.
Alright, Aegis is kind of medium speed, maybe a little bit slower.
I'm over here.
There's a decent air dash.
I'm over here. Full power. Now. Come.
That absorbs incoming projectiles, I believe.
Here I go. Attack. Persona. Target below. Target below.
Oh, that's right. She's got, there's a gauge, a heat gauge, I think that is, in the lower left, right above her SP. And you can charge. If you charge it up to one level, you get machine gun. What's skill do? Oh, one of her supers? Let's see if it says in her command list here. I do know Aegis is a little more complex than some of the other characters, but I don't remember all the mechanics. down, down, 3 downs, and persona button. Oh, is that the full screen?
Persona. Full power.
Nope.
Persona. Attack.
It's
Persona.
just forward hitting attack. She's got explosives coming out of the air. Downers hit. These are just command normals. Escape change. Mode change. Alright. Oh, that's right. She has like an overheat mode. And that's what causes her gauge to deplete. That's right. Quarter circle forward pulls the machine gun out. Or you can hold it. Interesting. Oh, that's right, Orgia mode, which was what causes her gauge to decrease, and it changes her move set. That's right. So let's see, Gatling Blast. Press and hold during the B and skill versions to continue shooting. All right, but it's got a recharge, I think. Oh no, it's got ammo. The ammo counter is kind of obscured by the input viewer, but it's right to the right of the heat gauge. So when she's out of bullets, she can't use that attack anymore. Let's see if we can restart. The heavy version, you can hold down, and she'll just keep firing. 7th gen Radical Cannon. That does not have ammo. Mortar shot. Seventh gen Vulcan. Midair. Yeah. That one you can't hold because it stops as soon as she hits the ground. But it does consume bullets. And Orgia boost. Okay, when she goes into that mode, she changes her dash properties for one. If we turn it off, her regular dash is just on foot. When she's in Orgia mode, she gets basically an air dash, a persistent air dash. Iconic says, alright, been fun watching you lab, but I got to go. Take care. Alright, Iconic. I will catch you later, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this intro look at Ultimax. If you end up picking up the game, you'll have to let us know, especially once we can get Fight Club up and running. Alright. She can hover in Orgia mode. Is that just a hover boost, so she can sort of stop and do other things out of that? Yeah, that's what it looks like. Megiddo Fire EX. Oh, air boost. Okay, that's what she can do. If you go into the hover boost and then hit a direction plus light and heavy, you can go for like a forward dash, looks like. And Megiddo Fire. There it goes. Pandora missile launcher, quarter circle back, persona button. Oh yeah, that's the missile barrage. Alright, for supers, Goddess Shield is the forward moving one. Yeah. Full screen charge. Multi-mounted, machine gun, Orion. Quarter circle forward, lighter heavy. Come on. Do it in the air. Oh, I wonder why it's not going off on the ground. Oh, only in midair. That's why. There we go. That'll hit. The animations on Aegis's moves are pretty cool. Heavenly Spear, quarter circle back, persona button. Kind of an anti-air Shinryuken type move. Extreme Orgia mode. Quarter circle back, light and heavy. You have to be in mode already? Oh, when out of bullets? Oh, when overheated and out of bullets? Okay, so she's got to be completely out of bullets, or Meteors got to be completely empty? There it is. This is a super install. And then I believe it just puts her regular mode on cooldown after it runs out. And her super, Heritage Liberator, Palladion. Oh, is that not usable on cooldown? Oh, that's also in midair. Well, she's dead. Not a big fan of the insta-kills that you have to activate from the air. I imagine you just have to wait for someone to jump at you. So that's Aegis. Probably one of the more complex characters we've looked at.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This
Next up,
place
we got
exists between dream
Adachi.
and reality, mind and matter. Now,
Mr. Chaos himself.
Guess I'll play along.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego.
Let's
Your
begin.
persona. I wish you good luck. Nothing seems amiss.
That's right. Adachi's title is the egocentric police dick, because he is a detective, and no other reason.
You're irritating me. How about this?
Okay.
It's no use. You piss me
No,
off.
he's a stance character, I think. I
It's no
do not remember what Adachi does. We'll have to take a look.
Have fun with this. You piss me off. It's no use.
My quarter circle forward puts him in this walking state, and he can do other moves out of it.
Piss me off. It's no use.
Interesting. His dial combo looks like this.
Okay.
Instant overhead, huh?
Okay.
Oh, yep.
I knew it. You're a lot.
Overhead hit followed by low follow-up. Calm down is that walking forward move. Yeah. It's got 2 follow-ups out of that. Quarter circle back persona is Megidola.
Yikes.
Oh, command grab?
I hate to say this.
Yep. Evil smile, quarter circle forward, persona button.
Have fun with this.
Nothing seems amiss.
Oh, is that the one that inflicts
Have fun with
inflicts fear? And it's unblockable at set distance. And that's it for his move list. Pretty small. Atom Smasher is the beam, I think. Or no, that's the ranged multi-hits. Inflicts. Yeah, multi-hit. And ailments, I think. Heat Riser. Quarter circle forward, lighter heavy. And initiates a buff state.
irritating me. You're irritating. It's no use. You piss me off.
Okay, his stat buffs are in the lower left corner above his energy bar. Looks like buffs for him and his persona. Ghastly Whale, quarter circle back, persona button.
How about this? I like that look on your face.
You'll pay twice over for that.
I'll play with you.
No, that looks like it has a really close range.
How about this?
Yep. Magatsu Mandala, quarter circle back, lighter heavy.
How about this?
Also close
How
range?
about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And his insta-kill, Yomi drop.
It really is stupid, you know? If you want to play hero, do it with your friends.
It's pretty cinematic. Insta-kill.
Are you satisfied?
Nothing seems amiss.
It's no use. Yikes. You're irritating. You piss me off.
So that's the move list for Adachi. He doesn't have a lot, but his kind of style is a bit mix-up, close range. Not really command grabs. He's not a grappler character per se, but he's interesting. Not a character I played a ton with, but in the right hands, he is pretty annoying to fight. Alright. We're almost done with the cast.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between
Next up,
dream
we've got
and
Elizabeth.
reality, mind and matter.
Elevator attendant
Why don't you introduce yourself?
and sister of Margaret.
Please be careful.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego, your persona.
It's Rosette. Nice to meet you.
Very well.
And Elizabeth uses Thanatos.
Going backward. Is everyone rocking? Let's keep this up. Going backward. Yeah, yeah. How about yeah? How about this? Now going up. Please excuse
Oh, that's right. Kind of like Margaret, Elizabeth
me
has
if you can.
the Book of Cards. So a lot of her attacks tend to have different ranges. Like this is her standing heavy. Incredibly fast. Move that comes out
I'll eat
and whips back.
I'll eat the cost.
Incredibly fast, yeah.
Time.
Same thing in the air.
I'll eat the cost. How about this? How about
Standing
this one?
light.
Yeah.
Pretty close by.
How about this one? Seriously? Gosh. Yeah. How about this one? Towering ice wall. Oh my gosh. Seriously? Yeah. Towering ice wall.
I don't think this is all part of her dial combo.
How about yeah?
Does it not have a super? 90 hits?
How about towering ice wall? Yeah. How about this one?
Oh, I guess it doesn't have a super.
Is everyone rocking? Let's keep this up. How about this one? Summoning Thanatos. Yeah, jeez, draw. Oh my gosh.
Command move, regular, command normal.
Now
Down
going
heavy?
next. Please excuse me. Ha. Tie.
Ah,
Please
I see.
excuse me. Ha.
Hit upwards.
How about this one?
Shuffle time. Command input. Move forward, dodging, throw opponent. So command grab.
Your
Yep.
fate seems to be utterly finished.
And inflicts random status ailments.
Your fate seems to be utterly finished.
Oh, she gets all the level 3 elemental spells, I see. Maziodyne, quarter circle forward. Light.
Next, break seriously. Next,
Hard version can be charged. Ice is quarter circle back.
shoot. Is everyone rocking? Let's keep this up. Towering ice wall. Shoot. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Not
Okay,
bad.
heavier version has a follow-up. Magarudyne.
Seriously?
That can be moved, I think.
Next. Oh my gosh.
Yep, can be aimed and steered.
Next. Oh my gosh. Next. Oh my gosh. Seriously? Next. Rise, Hellfire.
That's fire version, Maragidyne.
Oh my gosh. Rise, Hellfire. Seriously?
Light version goes forward, heavy version goes back.
Next. Rise, Hellfire. Seriously? Next. Oh my gosh. Breaking news. Danger. Oh, here I go. Seriously? Next.
Debilitate. A charge move, that's a counter.
Is everyone rocking? My gosh. Keep this up. My gosh.
Yeah. What does it do? Negative penalty if the counter successfully goes off. Next up, Mind Charge. Oh, reduces HP to awakened state, recovers SP. So, recovers meter, but puts her into a low HP state so she can use her other moves.
My power keeps rising.
Is that held button thing universal?
Is everyone ready? Oh my gosh! Seriously? I'll eat the cost.
It's only lights. This must be a shortcut system. I guess I never checked to see if it was the same for everybody.
How about this one? Towering high. Seriously?
Yeah, you can hold the button down to get different specials or supers to come out.
Next. Yeah.
Interesting. Mahama-on. Core circle forward. Light persona button.
Now what will come out? White card. Now what will come out? White card.
That comes up at the opponent's feet, I think?
You can. Shuffle time. White card.
Nope, it's set distance in front of her.
How about this one?
Ghastly Whale. Core circle. Oop. No, gotta do Mamudo own first. Same input, but heavy persona.
Now what will come out? Black card. Go.
Oh, does that put a trap hazard on the screen? Triggers after a few seconds. If the round time is 10 seconds or less and it goes off, it does a ton of damage.
Here it is.
Interesting. Awakened State. Diarahan. Heal.
Towering high ball. Healing time. Do you have a problem? Ah, I hear it.
For the B and skill boost versions, as long as you can hold the buttons down. Alright. It's kind of like Yukiko's heal.
I'll eat the cost. Healing time. Do you have a problem? Is
Yeah.
everyone rocking? Let's keep this up.
Okay. And Megidolon is her insta-kill. Of course it is. The grab? Oh no, it's a counter, isn't it? Yep. Well. There it goes.
Now, the beginning of the act. Rain down, searing massive light.
Spirit Bomb? Spirit Bomb.
Just as I thought. We should wrap this up. Oh, dude. You up. We have come. Whoa. That was close. Is that so?
Okay, that's it for Elizabeth.
Jeez. Summoning Sanity. Next.
I'm going to load the next character up and then I'm going to go refill my water bottle real quick.
This place exists
Ah, and
between
it's
dream
Akihiko and Caesar.
mind
Alright, Akihiko's fun.
Now, why don't you introduce yourself?
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego. Your persona.
He's going to fight himself.
Very well.
Two-Fisted Protein Junkie. The story arc for Akihiko is really interesting. Oh, this is the battle theme from P3. Alright, I'm gonna go refill my water bottle. I'll be back in 1 sec.
What's the matter? I'm right here. Bring it on. What's the matter? I'm right here. What's the matter?
Bring it on.
What's the matter? I'm right here.
Bring it on.
What's the matter? I'm right here.
Bring it on.
What's the matter? I'm
Bring
right
it on.
here. What's the matter? I'm right here. What's the matter? I'm right here.
Bring it on.
What's the matter? I'm
All
right
right.
here.
Let us resume with Akihiko.
Bring it on.
He is a very close range brawler type. This is considered rushdown.
Gotcha. Bring it on.
Pretty decently fast on the ground. Yeah, his air dash is really quick.
Bring it on.
You got to look up his specific mechanics. He's got the tornado gauge. Little thing looks like a tornado above his magic bar. Lion Tame says, "I've been waiting for this." I think that's what he says, right? Double uppercut. Instant input. Cannot be comboed out, but it can be canceled, I believe. Oh no, maybe not. Kill Rush is that forward lunging series of blows. Dodge Strike, quarter circle back, light. Okay, that's a evade counter, I believe. Parry, okay. The moment he parries, he can cancel into other things. If you don't do anything, you recover magic. So you can use that kind of like a guard counter. Assault dive. Dive kick. Or dive shoulder.
Bring it on. That's nothing. Right now.
Corkscrew can be executed out of some of his other moves. Okay, yeah, he's got follow-ups. That's right. That's Corkscrew. Boomerang Hook is the same thing, but back in one of the attacks. that. Sonic Punch. Up. Duck. This is a high evade. Can be chained into after other moves too. Yeah.
Bring it on.
I think you can dodge cancel with that technically. Didn't play a ton of Akihiko. He's really cool and his different moves are kind of complicated. But yeah, so you can do it like a cancel. Yeah, and do things out of it too. It's kind of stance based in a way. The weave is the
Bring it on. Caesar!
state doing the input backwards. Bobbing and weaving, you can hold it down to regain SP. Does it evade though? I think you can use it to chain, I think.
You're up.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Akihiko's game is mix-ups. You can use his different sort of stance states to chain into other things and keep the opponent from figuring out what you're going to do. Very kind of unpredictable and fast. Supers, Cyclone Uppercut, Core Circle Forward, close range, kind of anti-air.
Bring it on.
Thunder Fists, Core Circle Forward Persona button.
Ready for this? What's the
Oh,
matter?
buff state.
Right here.
Adds status, ailment, and chip to on all attacks non-persona. And he's invulnerable to shock. But if he takes a hit, then the buff state ends. Okay. Maziodyne. Full screen, electric attack, core circle back, persona button. Yep, that's full screen. And just insta kill, Earthbreaker. It's probably going to involve punching people, but that's a ranged attack. Yeah, it's got to pull him in. Akihiko's finisher is he punches you really hard. All right.
Bring it on.
A couple more left.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This
We have
place exists between dreams.
Shadow Labrys.
Picture in your head
This
your
is
own
Labrys
appearance
from
as
before,
well
but
as your alter
in
ego.
Shadow Mode she has a different persona. It's Asterius.
Ibis ready for combat.
Very well.
Fitting that she's fighting Aegis, her younger sister, canonically. All Alright, she has a lot of the same moves as regular Labrys. Things like the spinning axe strike and the drop straight down. Kind of like we did for show. We'll take a look and see if there's anything different. Knuckle Train. What's new?
Continuing through.
Oh, Knuckle Train is neutral input. Big forward punch with the persona. Can be charged. Terra's Eruption. Up persona button.
Continuing standby.
Anti-air projectile. Hammer uppercut. Teleport. Hit from below. Cliffs of Krita. Heavy persona.
Just stay there.
Oh, I think that's a guard. Like a block damage type move. She has a command uppercut. Oh, armored. Armored attack. Guillotine axe, that should be the same. Chain knuckle, that should be the same. Flame of Hades. That's the projectile. Oh no, that's a grab. Yep, that's a grab.
Resuming.
Buffalo Hammer. Big hitting move with a projectile wave. Low attack, full screen. That's nice. Massive Slaughter. Charge input, back to forward, persona button. That's got a pretty close range. Oh, okay, that was the grab.
Resuming.
Right. Public Execution.
Continuing standby.
To hit from below? Oh, that might be anti-air. Yep, anti-air throw. Supers, challenge authority, 2 quarter circles forward, persona button.
Resuming.
Big punch. Looks like it's close range. Brutal impact, quarter circle back.
Resuming.
Unblockable. And it can be charged with the B version. Alright. Titanomachia. Quarter circle back. Persona button.
Resuming. This is when your life ends.
It's full screen. Oh, you can put 3 commands. Alright.
Resuming. Recovered. Resuming. This is when your life ends.
Okay, you can make it do several things before it goes off. Labyrinthos Gate.
Resuming. Continuing down. Personnel is saved.
Okay, that's not what I was trying to do. That's pretty neat super, just the way it's animated. That's the throw. Okay, so you have to throw the gate and then throw it again near opponent. Oh, I see. I guess you do have to throw it twice. Alright, I think that's it for Shadow Labrys. She's got a few unique moves, most of them centered around the different persona that she's got. Still pretty fun. I don't know who I prefer more. I think the original version of Labrys has got some more interesting moves, but they're both pretty powerful. Alright.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream
Next up,
and reality.
Jinpei,
Mind and
another character from
matter.
P3.
Why
He is a
don't you
baseball
introduce
player.
yourself?
His persona is called Trismegistus.
Looks like it's my turn.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego. Shall we begin? I wish you good luck.
Alright, let's see. I have not played a ton with Jinpei. Obviously, he's got a lot of bat and swing type moves. Let's see his dial combo. Oh, do you have to trigger it manually? Yep.
Nicely done. You're very cautious.
Alright, let's look at his command list. I can't remember if Junpei's got unique mechanics. Super Flamingo Swing. Instant input with heavies. And it can be held. Oh. No, it's just really slow. If you use it in the air, he brings the persona out. A bunch of dive kicks. Super spin swing. This is core circle forward. We saw that. Super bunt. Core circle back. Okay, kind of a real quick. Looks like hits mid. Full speed slide, core circle forward, persona button. Low hitting. And the heavy version has a run up. Deathbound. Core circle back, persona button. Ah. It's a physical attack. And that's it for his regular moves. All the P3 characters, for the most part, seem like they've got pretty short, kind of condensed move lists compared to some of the other characters. Inferno Homer is that bat attack. Is that a follow-up? Can be cancelled into a dash. A clean hit with additional input for A and C versions will hit a home run.
Nicely done. This is nothing.
Comeback Grand Slam, quarter circle forward, persona button. Oh, weird. It puts me into a similar state. Persona comes out to do damage, and you get the follow-up big swing. That's kind of a weird super. Victory cry. After scoring 10 runs, Junpei's overall stats will increase and he will get more clean hits. Okay, there's a score mechanic here. I see. There's a little strikes balls, outs, counter right to the right of his meter.
I predict a home run. Eat this. I'm on a roll.
You're very cautious.
So it keeps track of what you're doing.
I'm on a roll.
If I whiff attacks, it gives me a strike. 3 strikes gives me an out.
Combo attack.
And then after that, it puts him into a stagger state. Oh, based on the type of hit, he can cancel into things they call clean hits. Okay. Keep looking at his supers. Super Vorpal Bat. Of course, circle back Persona button.
Come on. Trismegistus. Here
Okay, I have a full screen toss. Explosive level up Grand Slam for his insta kill.
You're very cautious.
Take him right into space, sure.
all this macho glory. Perfect flip.
Oh.
Impossible.
The Persona tosses you like a ball from space, and he hits you through the school. Seems legit.
You're
I'm on a roll.
Oh, I see. The meter directly to the right of the strikes, balls, and outs is a bases icon. Right now the bases are loaded.
I'm on a roll.
Clean hit scores a run. Okay, he's got like a hits and runs thing. That changes how his moves work. That's interesting. The Mighty Strikeout Slugger. Yeah, Junpei's a bit more complex than I thought.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place
All right.
exists between dream and reality.
We're just about at the end of the character tour. And
Introduce yourself.
let's look at Rise and Himiko.
It's Rosette. Nice to meet you.
Picture in your head your own appearance as well as your alter ego,
Change.
your persona. Very well.
Alright, because she's an idol, Rise comes out with a microphone and mic stand. And she uses it like a weapon.
Right there. Here it is. Here it is. Stop it. Here it is. Persona. Take this.
And her persona, Himiko, is kind of interesting the way they created Rise's moveset in this game, because she didn't really have an offensive type role in P4. She was the navigator. And she never actively fought in combat.
My arrow.
Let's look at her move list. Reflective Bit. Defensive Absorb.
I totally see you. Got it.
Ah. Does that do damage? Yep.
Jeez.
It's an attack that absorbs incoming attacks. Rock You. Oh, this is the musical note?
Love and peace.
Yep.
No touching allowed. Here it is. Love and peace. My arrow of justice will pierce your heart. Here it is.
Oh, do they detonate?
Here it is. Love and peace.
Yes. It looks like they detonate
Love and peace.
if she does that sound wave.
Stop it.
Yep, various microphone attacks. You can hold button to change where they stop in both versions, the B and skill boost versions. Skill boosts are like an EX.
Love and peace.
Yeah, I think when the characters are glowing blue like that, you get enhanced versions of the attacks at the cost of meter. No touching.
No touching allowed. Stop it.
Knockback.
No touching allowed. No touching allowed.
Oh, and it causes a wall bounce.
Jeez. Stop it. Stop it. Want it? Here's a skin. You should wrap this up. I'm gonna beat you up.
This is her dialogue combo.
That was close. Just getting started.
Platinum disc. Core circle forward.
Going down. Persona.
Okay.
Here it is. Persona.
Pretty quick moving forward projectile. The Karns, Tetrakarn.
No touching allowed.
That's physical barrier. Anything that hits it will push the opponent back. Makarakarn is a counter state. Okay. Arrow rain. Vertical projectiles. Yep. And now we have supers. Kind of like the other ones.
Money on my mother, mine. Cop 5 haircuts at the same time. White gold pants, jet ski made a wand. Foie gras bust of Albert Einstein, get money.
Hey, Apathetic Potato subscribed. Thanks for the sub, dude. Good to see you here. Potato says, when did this happen? If you're talking about the sub, then apparently just now. But either way, thanks for the sub and welcome to the stream. Oh, Potato says, when did the affiliate happen? The beginning of, or middle of February? Later part of February? It happened a lot faster than I expected, I'll tell you that though. I think it was towards the middle part, before the end of the month in February, I hit affiliate, which is crazy. I just can't wait for 2 months to pass of streaming so that I can get follower emotes enabled and you folks will have other things to be able to use in chat. I wish it was available now, but unfortunately I have to wait 2 months after hitting affiliate. Potato says, well, GG. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Alright. We are going through the cast tour of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. We're almost done. For Risei's supers, Hysterical Slap is the one that comes out of her dialogue combo.
Really?
Oh, it's got a range. Slap you silly and then hit you with the mic. Reset Field, course go forward Persona button. Okay. Additional inputs change the attack. Let's see. Oh, did not let me do it again because I already have a barrier out. There it is. Oh no, I see. She's got these kind of Ouroboros things going around her. I didn't even notice them the first time. Next up, Rosette live on stage. Quarter circle back. Persona button. Oh, it's a rhythm game.
No way!
I forgot she had that special. If you hit the inputs correctly, then it boosts the damage that super does, which is kind of interesting. And true story, insta kill.
Everyone. Yay, I pulled it off! Let's get rolling! This is my new power! Full idle power! Now for an encore! Defeat them?
That may not be a canon ability.
I can hold...
Okay. So that's Risei's move list. Kind of a mix of defensive abilities. It's kind of interesting. She's decently fun to play.
Here's a squad going down! Right there! Right there! Want it? Take this!
Alright. Let us move on.
Welcome to the Velvet
Alright.
Room.
With that, we have looked at the entire cast of Ultimax. We started here with you, the P4 Pro tag, and we moved all the way across the first row. And then we got to Yukiko, then we moved down here to Ken, and we did all the lower row. And I don't know if anyone who was here from the beginning is still here on stream, but I skipped one character. I skipped Naoto. And the reason why I skipped her is because she is my main in Ultimax.
Let's begin.
So now we can take a look at her, and then that should wrap us up for the day.
Your persona.
I'm on a mission.
I wish you good luck.
Alright, the 2000 IQ Killjoy Detective, Naoto. She is one of the more unique characters in the game, and I'll try and explain a bit how her sort of archetype works, because Naoto is different from most characters I play in fighting games. I tend to go for close range rushdown, characters like Chie, in fact. But I wanted to go for something different in this one, so that's why I chose Naoto as a main. She's not easy to use, but she is fun. So let's see, her normals, lights, heavies.
I must hit. I must hit.
Pretty straightforward. She's decently fast on the ground and in the air.
Heavy damage! No!
There you are.
Heavy damage!
Sniping. Assault. Taking aim.
Fighting!
So Naoto's kind of a combination of a stance and trap type character, which is kind of a unique combination for fighting game character archetypes.
Assault. Taking aim. Taking aim. How about this? Sniping.
And I'm gonna have to look at her move list to remember exactly how everything is played out. Okay, she can follow up after ground throw. Shield of Justice.
No way! Fighting!
That's a counter. It's a counter that has follow-ups that can be done on successful block. Okay. Double Fangs is that airborne kick move that immediately puts her into aim stance with her handgun, which is why she's a stance type character. When she goes into aim, she can either do it out of certain moves, or she can go into it manually by doing a quarter circle back and a button.
Aim. Bank shot. Okay. Aim. Okay. Here I go. Sniping. Down.
The quarter circle back light
Here I go.
just goes into a forward aim.
Severe impact!
Light damage.
Quarter circle back is a back flip.
Sniping. Okay. Aim.
Severe impact!
And she has a total of
Here I go. Okay. Sorry, but I see you.
5 5 bullets in her revolver.
Aim. Okay. Aim. Your armor's thick, but okay.
And there's a way to cancel. When you go into aim, snipe is a front shot, and that's just with light. You can do ricochet, which goes low and it bounces off the ground. And then you have anti-air, which goes up. So each of the buttons causes her to fire in a different direction.
Huh? Okay. Here I go. Okay. Here I go. Okay.
Either forward, down, or up. And then heavy persona button is a cancel, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
Aim. Okay. Taking aim. Okay. Aim. Okay.
Or you can do quarter circle back and light again to cancel out. Forward and heavy persona is a special shot.
Aim. Okay.
Like a forward burst.
Here I go. Okay.
Very close
Here I
range.
go. Okay.
And so knowing which of Naoto's moves put her into a aim state and then how to get out of it while managing her bullets is kind of unique. So she's stance based. We haven't seen the traps yet. She's stance, resource, traps. Very interesting combination for a fighting game character.
Okay. Severe impact. Persona.
Hair trigger Megiddo sets a trap on the ground or in the air. And that's done with the quarter circle back and persona button. That one on the ground was the heavy, I think. Yeah. And if the opponents walk over it, it triggers and explodes on them.
Do it.
And she can put down 2.
Nothing seems amiss.
Let's see if it says here. Trap is invisible till the opponent approaches it. On the ground or the air.
I hope you're prepared. Sniping. Okay.
Yeah, until they approach it, then it shows up on screen like that.
Archie, go.
And then the other one, Blight. Lunging persona attack that inflicts poison.
Sorry. Severe impact.
Light one goes up, heavy one goes forward.
Severe impact. Persona. I was hit.
And before we go into supers, kind of explain how these mechanics are supposed to work together. Basically, Naoto's main goal is to control the screen.
Okay.
Because she can go into the fire states and sort of lock down different parts of the screen, she can use her traps to sort of set things up
I was hit.
elsewhere on the screen, basically making the opponent have to guess where's safe and get them to be in a position where you want them. And that's the real challenge.
Do it. Light damage. I was here I go. Severe impact. Severe impact. Blood. No. I was hit. Go. Light damage.
As a result, fighting against Naoto players is sort of not really a zoning game because I tend to play her a little bit closer than most people, but you have to be constantly trying to remember what she's done and put on the screen.
Damage. No. Here I go. Severe impact. No. Your armor's damage. Okay. Persona. Taking aim. Please. Aim. Okay.
That and making sure you cancel
Okay.
her shooting stance. We want to not have her be out of bullets because the dry fire state basically puts her into a vulnerable animation. Alright, let's look at her supers. Quarter circle forward, Light. Anti-SP pistol alpha. Anti-SP pistol.
Assault! Okay. Now is the time. This should be enough rounds. Heavy damage. Initiate. Ah! It's the
I must
end of
simply
the
right
act.
myself.
Assault! Okay.
Alright, so that one
Now is the time. This should be
jumps up and then fires at a downward angle. Beta version.
Severe no!
okay.
Light damage.
I must use it. One shot kill.
Instead of a projectile barrage, it's one much stronger single shot. Also comes down at an angle from midair. These next two are unique. And now I gotta remember how her fate counter works. That thing that has the skull, the little animated laughing skull icon, is her fate meter. And I believe it's tied to bullets. Let's test that.
Aim. Your armor's there. Okay.
Light damage.
No, hold on, let's reset.
I hope you're prepared.
Starts at 7, and then it goes down every time. Is it you shoot?
Aim. Okay.
No. Every time a trap lands.
Severe impact.
Let's see. Yes. Every time she lands a trap, that meter goes down.
Go.
Damage.
Nothing seems amiss. There.
Some damage sustained.
And then once it's at 0 and animates with the little red mark, if you throw one of her two supers, either Hama-on or Mudo-on, they will insta-kill. So the Hama-on looks like this.
Motor functions shutting down.
Again, as long as the death counter is reached 0, and you land that, they're dead. It's an insta-kill.
Damage. Damage. Light damage.
And that particular mechanic alone is why it's really important to pay attention to what Naoto's put on screen,
Severe.
because she can take you down to nothing if you just run into every single trap she's got. So Mudo-on is heavy. Alright, that's an air attack.
Aren't you fighting?
I won't bother having the computer demonstrate that, but if you get hit by Mudo-on in the air, same thing. The death counter's at 0, insta-kill. Next up, Raid. Core circle back. Light, then heavy. Light, then either light or heavy. Okay.
Light damage.
So the way this works is Naoto moves forward, firing shots from her gun, and then she has a follow-up at the end. Kind of an unusual super to use, because I think she'd be hit out of it. Next one, critical shot. This is... That's the follow-up where she winds up in kicks. So that's the finisher, really.
Here I go. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the end of the act.
And it causes multiple wall bounce, which is kind of neat.
Damage sustained.
And then her insta-kill,
Nothing
Judge
seems
of Hell.
amiss. Showtime! Farewell.
Motor functions shutting down.
The way that activation works is
I hope you're prepared.
Naoto creates a whole bunch of aiming reticles on screen, and if they're near one, then it procs the insta-kill.
Damage. Severe impact. Light damage. Damage.
I must hit. Assault your armor. Okay. Please. Persona. No. Assault. There you are. Okay. Persona. No. Assault. Okay.
Damage.
Taking aim.
Okay.
Damage.
So that's a summary of Naoto in a nutshell. Again, she's very unusual for a fighting game character. A combination of
Okay.
resources to manage and
I must hit.
setting hazards on the screen makes her just complicated but fun.
I must do it. I hope you're prepared.
Severe damage.
Here I go.
Severe damage.
Do it.
Severe
Go.
impact. Light damage.
Sniping. Armor. Okay.
Damage. Motor
Here I
system.
go.
Severe impact.
Go.
Some damage sustained. Heavy damage.
Persona.
Light damage.
Seems like kind of a mix of controlling
Severe impact.
Okay.
screen real estate and then setting up for things like her insta kills.
Initiate. Come on.
Motor functions shutting down.
I hope you're prepared.
Heavy damage. Severe impact.
Go.
Motor
Here I
system.
go.
Severe impact.
Do it. Go. Persona. Go.
Damage. Severe impact.
Go.
Severe impact.
Do it.
Severe impact. No. Severe impact.
Taking aim.
Some damage.
Okay.
Severe impact.
It's done.
No.
Assault. Down. Okay.
No.
There you are. Okay. Assault. Okay.
I guess she enters into the reload state automatically, but if you don't want to fire all the bullets at once,
Persona.
you can cancel it.
Assault. Okay.
That's good to know.
Taking aim. Okay. Persona. Taking aim.
Okay. Severe impact. Heavy damage. No. Light damage.
Go.
I definitely need to do some more lab time with Naoto and sort of remember all of the combos that I used to know with this character. But she'll be the one I'm working with primarily for a while.
Heavy damage. Severe. No.
Okay.
Alright, let's go ahead and quit out to the main screen and we'll kind of outro for today.
Nothing seems amiss.
Alright, at some point in the future, I'll have to talk to Wazi and see how to figure out how we're going to coordinate Fight Club and get that underway. We'll be testing some stuff off stream to see how the online functions before they end up adding in rollback. But once we get that figured out, then you can expect to hear something from us online. But this was sort of an intro to Ultimax. Again, there's a lot of characters and neat stuff to see. I plan on doing some more stuff with it next week, either random matches, online, or we'll just have to see if we can get the online stuff working with friends. But you can definitely expect to see a stream featuring Ultimax at some point next week, but I don't know what day yet. So let's see, I think I'm going to tab out, and we'll turn on the outro, since every time I tab out it kills the audio from the game. And let me see who's available to raid as we wrap up. Hopefully this was an interesting look at the game for folks who haven't played or seen Ultimax, because again, this game's pretty old. It's from maybe 2010 or 2011. But it's great that Atlas and them re-released it on PC and consoles. If you're interested in fighting games or Persona or both, I definitely recommend checking it out. But let us take a look at who's online to raid, and then I will switch over to the outro and we will wrap up for the day. Let's see. I see Bits online. Let's go raid Bits again. See how they're doing. Forewarned. I don't know that game, but we'll check it out. So let's go to the outro, and then we will head over and raid Bits. So thanks again for everyone who tuned in, and I will catch you folks in the next stream.